No, I have 701. It's already being recorded. So I have 701, and I'll start the meeting. I'll ask the meeting to be called to order.
You ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Mayor Patricelli,
Present?
Councilman Torncello,
Present.
Councilwoman Diamond.
Present.
Okay, before we start, I'll ask everybody to please rise, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. And maybe before we start, I'd maybe ask for a moment of silence that we recognize the loss of one of our longtime police officers, John Cannon. John Cannon's wake was tonight, tomorrow. John served the city of Watervliet for, I don't know the number of years, but for quite a long time. And it's going to, he was certainly a great person and a great police officer. So you can just say a moment of silence. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you. All right, first order of business, be reading the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion, Mayor.
Thank you. Motion made in second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilman Torncello,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor. Okay, next we'll go to reports of officers and committees.
All right, from our office there, I talked with Chris Doss today. I know everyone's been forwarded some information regarding our bulk week. He gave us a 4-year projection as to what we've done in the past from 2016 to forward. You'll see the tonnage definitely has gone up during the 2020 April collection period. We're up to 298 tons for that period of time. Chris attributes the large increase because we've had an average over the past from 2016 to 19. We had an average of 205 tons. The 298 tons that he collected in April, he's attributing to the COVID crisis where everyone was home and actually started cleaning out their houses, rightfully so. And an additional 18 tons where we've collected typically 16 in recycling was collected during that period as well. So again, he's looking at even weekly garbage is up about 50% as comparative. We look to collect typically about 35 to 45 ton in a given week. That puts us about 3,000 tons per year. So you can see our collection has gone up there. Any questions on that at all? If not, I'll move to the next item, which is the canine dog.
Joe, I do have a couple of questions on the
yes.
garbage. Do we know the cost that was attributed to the increase itself? I mean, the tonnage itself was what, about almost 100 tons. What comes out of that in dollars?
I asked Chris that themselves today, Mayor, and he does not have a number for us at this time. But as I do collect that information, he said he's going to try to work on it for us and get it to us as quick as possible. But if not within the next few days, definitely an email will go out to the council and be again brought back to this body, at the next meeting as well.
Just to add to that, I believe the tonnage cost is about $64 to $67 a ton. So if it's up about 100 tons, I'd go around $6,400, $6,700.
More than typical?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Amanda, what was it, the tonnage? What was it at?
Just based off of what you just said, I don't think I received the information from Chris to see how much tonnage went up, but I was just saying roughly a ton costs $64 to $67. And if we're up about 100 tons, based off of what you said, Mr. Mayor, I think that was what you said, we'd be at $6,400 to $6,700 extra.
Okay.
Yeah, but the real number we'll have definitely for sure by the next, another a short email or the next meeting for sure. We'll have everybody with that as well, and we'll give you a year to date as also.
Okay. I mean, I know we had long discussions last year about, bulk weeks and what we were going to do and how we were going to handle it. We were coming up with some other scenarios here and there. I think it's incumbent upon us now to look at it a little closer, to see exactly. I mean, it is a good deal. I know, for example, if you want to get rid of a couch from Huck Finn, they'll charge you $75 for each couch or each piece of furniture that they take. So if it's a couch or a chair, it's $75. But I think you gotta look at that to see how this is all going to work out, pan out for the end of the year, especially if we're looking to do another one in the fall. Right now it calls for another one in the fall, so it's going to be something that we have to consider, especially in this economic crisis that we're in now.
Yeah, that again is something we discussed as well, whether we went in the fall. I know it's in our charter that we do have two listed, so we'd have to make some type of change or resolution to it if we do so. The other thing is I know Chris mentioned the fact that there were several families notified of a violation in the overage of what they were trying to distribute or get rid of during the bulk week. So they tried to do it as best as they can, but again, there were a number of houses that were in violation, that they warned each one that they had to take care of that on their own.
Okay.
Joe, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I know we're picking up garbage in Maplewood now. Do they fall into our bulk week as well, or is just garbage?
No, it's just the garbage that Chris has talked to us about on that. I believe our contract with the town of Colony is for $45,000. And we picked them up on Wednesdays there. But there was no bulk week because the town doesn't have a bulk week within the town.
Okay.
So we did not extend that to them during the course. I know they've taken a couple of things here and there because he's called me. Can we grab this, like a couch or a table? And we've done that, but we certainly don't make habits of such. So we don't offer the bulk week in Maplewood.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Just let's keep it on our to-do list that we have to look at this.
I'm sorry, Mayor?
We'll just have to keep it on our list for the summer here to kind of like come up with a battle plan on what we're thinking about doing, and not have it us all of a sudden surprise us in October again and say, well, we're caught short again. Let's figure it out.
Absolutely. We'll have continued conversation with Chris for sure. So I have just a couple more items here, 4 to be in total. The mayor and the acting chief Strzok and I, we looked over the canine program with the Stanton Foundation. They reached out to us with another award letter for the upcoming year based on the fact that they canceled the program due to COVID at the time. They're offering the city an opportunity in the 2021 fiscal year. We've passed a resolution to consider this and look at it forward. I know a number of the police officers have done various efforts to try to make this, a no-cost effort to the city. So the mayor and Lieutenant Strzok, or Acting Chief Strzok, penned a letter and signed that with the Stanton Foundation to consider it for the 2021 fiscal year, based on the resolution that was passed by the council prior. Next item I have is our Clinton Park dog park, keeping with the same kind of title here with canine. We are moving forward with that. We got a secondary quote from ASCO Fence, which was just about half of the original quote that we got. So we're at about 5,400 there. John Rosano of the Watervliet Foundation has agreed to cover the cost of the fencing and the installation. So that will be no cost to the city of Watervliet. There are a couple of things that we have to do, such as some of the grubbing and clearing of the growth on the fence that's existing there today, which we plan to do. I've reached out to call the 911 dig today, so we got a date of Monday with them to come out and mark everything. I'm going out there tomorrow to mark the fence where it is, and hopefully within the next few weeks we're on AFSCO's installation, and our dog park will continue to move forward. So that's exciting in itself. The next item, the roof on the pool house. We've engaged Skyway Roofing to go in and repair the damage that's been probably existing now for 2.5 years. It's been tarped for all of that we know. So that's moving forward at a cost of $4,800. That will be covered under the SAMS grant by Mayor McDonald of 2017. So that'll be again a no cost to the city for that. So we thank Mayor McDonald for that, or Assemblyman McDonald. Goes to show how far back I think of John. But anyway, Assemblyman McDonald has definitely given us the money to cover that cost as well. Lastly, on my item, I want to thank the mayor, members of our DPW, volunteers in Albany County. I think if anyone's driven by the dome, we see that was sealed and now striped accordingly. It looks a lot better, and I think it's probably even better than the day the dome was actually installed. So Mayor, thanks to you and to everyone who put that together. The dome looks in a lot better shape than it has in the past years.
Enjoyed it.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mark, is there anything that you want to add on 9th Avenue or the the bike path? Mark? We lost Mark? We can't hear you, Mark.
Yeah, so the water line, the water line's been tested. We have 2 different areas that required testing. We have one stretch on 19th Street. You're going to notice that there's some pavement cut down on 19th Street at 9th Avenue that's going to be repaired within the next couple days. As far as the bike path goes, we're going to be taking the parking lane on Broadway Monday and Tuesday from the wood burning warehouse north to 13th Street, so we can do some drainage work on the bike path side, which is actually on the 787 side of Broadway. I went around and put leaflets in everybody's mailbox today. We'll have it posted tomorrow for no parking on Monday and Tuesday. But that the curb was set from 4th Street down to about 5th Street today, and that'll continue tomorrow, moving north on Broadway. And that's about it. And I'm going to jump back on my desk and see if I can get things working there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. The other thing too, Joe, I know you approached on the dog for the police department. You'll be coming up with more an analysis and numbers for that, right?
Oh, absolutely. We'll be talking a lot about that during the budget cycle as we go forward. I know Acting Chief Strzok has been in conversation with various entities. One of our police members is working with a automobile company for a possible donation of a vehicle. If anything, the efforts are trying to minimize the impact to the city, if not zero it out and keep it as net zero to the cost. But that will all be discussed with this council moving forward.
Thank you very much. All right. Anybody else have any questions for either Joe or Mark?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just the other thing, Joe, basically because it's on the committees, I've been asked again to make sure that the members of the tree committee are on the tree keeper. I don't know if you've been able to get to that yet, but I know that they've requested it.
Yes, I did try to get onto the Davy website yesterday and was having a little trouble. I need to reach out to them just to get back on. I don't know if it's my password that's not functioning, but we are looking at that.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. All right, then we'll move into old business, and I believe there are none.
There is no old business this evening, Your Honor.
Okay, then we'll move into new business. Thank you. Well, would you read the first resolution?
Sure. The first order of business is ordinance number 2026. It's an ordinance of the City of Watervliet authorizing and directing David Wheatley, Deputy City Clerk and Clerk to the Council, to publish once a week for 3 weeks in the official newspaper of the city pursuant to provisions of Section 30 of the City Charter. The proposed sale by the Council of the City of Watervliet of 2112 4th Avenue in Watervliet, tax map 32.59-2-10, and then a public hearing will be held on July 9th, 2020 at 7 p.m. concerning the proposed sale of the property, at which time all persons interested may be heard in opposition to or in favor of such proposed sale of the property.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on that resolution.
And I'll second it.
Okay, well, what was the resolution number, Dave?
It's actually ordinance number 2026.
Okay, so we're reading that one first. All
Ordinance.
right. All right, there was a motion made and seconded.
Yes.
On the question on that? Jordan,
Yes, Mayor.
anything you want to mention on the sale of the property that we're not already addressing the ordinance?
Yes, certainly, Mayor. I mean, that's fine. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, so ordinance number 2026, as Mr. Wheatley indicated, this relates to the property at 2112 4th Avenue in the city of Watervliet. It's as we all know, a rather lengthy ordinance, but it authorizes the advertisement once a week for 3 weeks in the official newspaper of the proposed sale by the council of this property, scheduling the public hearing on July 9th of 2020 at 7 p.m. and also the public auction by the general manager on July 16th of 2020, and also contained in the ordinance would be the council meeting date of August 6, 2020, where the council would consider the approval if there is a successful bidder at the public auction. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay. Any questions on that?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, good. All
No,
right.
thank you. No,
Call a roll.
Councilman Torncello,
in favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor.
Next order of business is resolution number 9755. The Council of the City of Watervliet hereby authorizes that the regular meetings of the council in the months of July and August in the year 2020 be held on the following dates and times: July 9th, 2020 at 7 p.m. and August 6th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Excuse me.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on the resolution.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay. A motion made and seconded. It's just basically to go to our regular meetings or one meeting a month during July and August, and that should be enough of for that. Hopefully those meetings will be in person, I think, at that time, depending on whatever comes up between now and then, but we'll see. But we'll go from there. All right, clerk, call the roll.
Councilman Torncello,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor.
Resolution number 9756 is a resolution approving and authorizing the issuance and advertisement of a request for proposals for the purpose of soliciting proposals for consulting and management support to the City of Watervliet for planning, administrative, and program delivery services for various state and federal grant programs.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on the resolution.
And I'll second that.
Okay, Joe, you wanna comment on it? This is basically for the consulting services for our grants, right? This is renewal.
Yes, it is, Mayor. And if Jordan has anything to say after this, he can certainly also add to it. But if you remember, the council had an agenda item before them 2 meetings ago where we were going to extend Mr. Murphy's contract based on the contract language. But then in the final minutes before the meeting, the state of New York got back to us on the review and said we needed to go out to an RFP for that. So that's when we pulled that last item on the agenda, developed the RFP, and went out. Specifically, they didn't want all 3 items inclusive of one RFP, or one solicitation review where they submitted back to the city. So we ended up breaking that up. So we have it for housing, infrastructure, and economic development, all separate and distinct submissions. Jordan, I don't know if you have anything, or Dave.
I think you pretty much hit the nail right on the head.
Okay.
And Mayor, as the council is aware, the RFP has been distributed to the members of the council, and that is prepared to be, to my understanding, on file and publicly exhibited and available on Monday, June 22nd, 2020. So that RFP is all set.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Nope.
Nor do I.
Go ahead, Dave. Call the roll, please.
Councilman Torncello,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor.
And Your Honor, that concludes the new business for this evening.
All right.
Wait. Oh, sorry, never mind.
We have appropriations and accounting, I believe. Is that what you're asking for, Amanda?
This was.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Just get.
Stop trying to cheat Amanda out of her time.
Okay. Well, let's move into appropriations and accounting.
Okay, so in appropriations and accounting, we have resolution number 9757. The Council of the City of Watervliet hereby authorizes and approves the expenditure of $189,488 from the reserve for equipment to be used for the purchase of financial and administrative data processing system for the City of Watervliet.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on the resolution.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, Amanda, do you want to explain it? I think it's
So this is just the use, authorizing the use of reserve funding to pay for this. This was approved by the council a couple meetings ago, this contract for Edmonds. And just to let the council and everyone know that that is not all coming out in one shot. The first payment is $118,437.85. Another roughly $28,000 in a couple of months, and then after a year, hopefully upon completion, it'll be another $42,000. I also wanted to note that this is part of potential FRB grant. I spoke with Tim Ryan today, actually, who is our FRB representative, and essentially he let me know that they typically meet in June every year to discuss what contracts they're going to assign, and I've been in contact with Tim regarding the Edmonds contract, hoping to get some reimbursement from the FRB, and he informed me that there's currently no scheduled meeting. There's not likely to be a scheduled meeting for in the near future, but he is hoping that there will be one. Essentially, he didn't really have any answers at this time for whether or not we will be receiving reimbursement. He's hopeful, as am I. I believe this software qualifies for reimbursement. I had explained that there was some ties related to shared services with Albany County that's associated with that particular grant, and I had explained that even since Mike McNeff has left and gone to the county, he has actually come back here and he has assisted me a little bit. So we do still have those ties regardless of which system we go with. And that's kind of it on that. And we're still hopeful to get reimbursement. So this is just paying for the software in the meantime, and hopefully we will be reimbursed.
As typical, we are left out in the cold until someday in the future. So let's be hopeful. Well, either way, we're proceeding with this. So is there any other questions of the council members?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. All right, Amanda or Dave, you want to call the roll?
Sure. Councilman Torncello,
In favor?
Councilwoman Diamond,
In favor?
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor.
And Your Honor, that concludes the business for this evening.
Okay. Anything further coming up before the council from any of the council members?
No, thank you, Mayor.
No, I don't have anything either.
I just want to bring up a topic that I think we need to we will need to talk about anyway is the and that's the status of the pool. We did the good news side of it. We have all the splash pads going. With the help of volunteers, we were able to extend the hours of the splash pads to be on later each day, and also operate on a Saturday and a Sunday. They typically haven't done in years. At one time, I believe we did have some kind of council staffing and that kind of thing, maybe years ago, but not a long time that I know. But brings us to the big pool, and the $1 million question is whether or not we're going to be opening the pool or not. And we've come to that conclusion that really it's almost impossible to open up the pool for this year. The crisis itself, the COVID regulations are, and you can get a copy of them. And I think I distributed a copy to everybody here. But anybody else looking to get a copy of them, they're quite difficult to enforce, especially by young lifeguards. Not having lifeguards is another big issue because, very frankly, there's not that many around, and and not. They're basically college kids coming back and forth, or high school kids that are able to work that. And the third is basically the financial. There's really no money to do any of this with what we're facing right now. And I believe I just got a letter or an email from you haven't had an opportunity to see it, just sent it minutes before the council meeting, was the state talking about the shortage in income tax monies and sales tax money revenues and what that's going to be. So right now it doesn't look good for any of us. So is there anything that we have on that? Anybody want to talk about it? Anybody want to become a lifeguard?
No, I think that, Mayor, I just think that's the only smart move, the only economically and realistically, the only smart move that we can make. I know that we talked about the roof, and I think if we can and I know it needs some other work, and if we can just sort of gear it towards getting it up and running as best as possible next year, and give us some time to really get it going, I think that would be the best course of action, I think.
You're right,
No,
Peter.
and I agree. It's really difficult as far as even like the the guidelines, the regulations, who will actually enforce the you know, the masks and so forth. That's a tough thing for like you said, for a young, you know, lifeguard or a young pool worker to, you know, to handle. I agree. I think it's just for the safety of everybody. I don't think we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult enough under normal circumstances to control. Sometimes the kids, you know, no running, no jumping, no this and no that. I mean, there's so many different things that a normal life, you know, lifeguarding, you know, presents itself in that respect. But to kind of enforce masks and social distancing and everything else that's required, I just don't understand how you even begin it. There are going to be a couple other cities maybe around us that might try it. I wish them the luck if they have it. A number of others that have decided already that they're not going to do it as well. But you know, I think it's just going to have to be something that whatever municipality feels most comfortable with, and they have to go for it. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Mayor, didn't we talk at one time about working with the County of Albany and perhaps maybe even transporting some kids on certain days to some of the facilities that they have, or the lake, you know, the lakes that they have, or some things. At one time there was even a conversation about a fishing program or things like that we can work with the county. Is any of that still in the works?
No, Peter. Basically, that was all pre-COVID. That was everything that we talked about. All those kind of plans have all kind of withered out. You know, even to be able to try and get kids on a bus, you know, social distance on a bus and that type of thing. And the same problem. I don't know what the county's doing about, I think it's Larson Lake, which is, I think out in Clarksville, which is what we're talking about. But that, you know, they were willing to, you know, take our kids and bring them out there, you know, maybe once or twice a month or whatever it was, you know, as a different experience or a field trip type of thing. But I don't believe that that's an option right now, and you know, to be able to go. But I haven't explored it, but I just kind of found it to be like far-fetched.
It's understandable. We're facing, you know, a once in a lifetime, you know, hopefully even more than that, once every 100 years, worldwide health crisis. You know, you're gonna have to sort of tighten your belt for a year or more, and just get things ready to reopen next year. Which let's all hope we can do that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Other than that, I'll turn it over to Dave for a public comment period.
Okay, at this time, the mayor and the council have authorized a public comment period. We ask that you state your name